التاسع دخل المدرس الفصل ووجد فيه 15 طالبا فقط. Again. ووجد فيه 15 طالبا فقط. فقال لهم: أين الطلاب الجدد الخمسة الذي جاءوا أمس؟ قال عبد الله: حضروا اليوم. You say not together, you say حضروا اليوم وخرجوا قبل قليل. أظن أنهم ذهبوا إلى المدير. رجع الطلاب الخمسة بعد قليل فقال لهم المدرس إلى المدير ذهبتم يا أبنائي؟ قالوا نعم. ذهبنا إليه لأننا ما وجدنا أسماءنا في القائمة. جلس المدرس وقال: أقرأتم درس الأمس يا أبنائي؟ قال الطلاب: نعم قرأناه وكتبناه وحفظناه. قال المدرس: أفهمتموه؟ قالوا نعم فهمناه جيدا. ما أسهل هذا الدرس. قال عبد الرحمن: أنا ما فهمت فيه 3 كلمات. قال المدرس: ما هي؟ قال عبد الرحمن: قرأنا في الدرس هذه الجملة: عاد جدي من الخرطوم. فما معنى هذه الكلمات الثلاثة؟ فما معنى هذه الكلمات الثلاث؟ قال المدرس: عاد معناها رجع، وجد معناها أبو الأب أو أبو الأم. والخرطوم عاصمة السودان. أفهمت؟ قال عبد الرحمن: الآن فهمت. أقلب الصفحة. next page. ثم فتح المدرس كتابه وقرأ درسا جديدا. خلق الله الشمس والقمر والنجوم والأرض والبحار وخلق كل شيء وخلق الإنسان من طين ثم قال وكتب ثم قام وكتب هذا الدرس على السبورة. رفع محمد يده وقال: ما معنى الطين يا أستاذ؟ قال المدرس: الطين معناه التراب المختلط بالماء. ورفع فيصل يده فقال له المدرس: أعندك سؤال يا فيصل؟ قال فيصل: نعم، عندي سؤال. البحار جمع البحر. البحار جمع البحر. قال المدرس: نعم هو كذلك. قام الحسن وقال: ما جمع السماء؟ وقال: ما جمع السماء؟ يا أستاذ. قال المدرس: جمعها سماوات. ثم سأل المدرس الطلاب عدة أسئلة. المدرس: من خلقك يا إبراهيم؟ إبراهيم: خلقني الله. المدرس: من خلقكم يا أبنائي؟ الجميع. خلقنا الله. خلقنا الله. المدرس من خلقني يا عباس عباس خلقك الله خلقك الله المدرس من خلق الشمس يا عبد الله يا عبد الله عبد الله خلقها الله خلقها الله نعم. We go over to the next page now, inshallah. Or rather, before we go to the next page, let's go back and inshallah, I think we have first here. Right. So Brother Camille is with us, right? Believe so? I'm sure which one is he? Riyaz 10. Believe that is Brother Nazim. Yeah, let's see. 8 or 2 1. Yes. Anybody could confirm if Brother Camille is with us? Ah, yes. Okay, yeah. Can see him. All right, this one. So we just read over the passage that we read last week. Well, the part of the passage that we read last week, which will be the first 2 pages in Ad-Darus Al-Tasi'u, lesson 9. All right. So we read that last week. Just read it again. We're now going to go back over quickly some of the exercises that we looked at last week from lesson 8, Ad-Darus Al-Thaminu. All right. So just quickly again, we looked at the table in lesson 8, which we said is broken up into rows and columns. In the columns, we have 2 columns, al-mufrad and al-jama, which is singular and plural, right? And in the rows, we have 3 groups. We have al-ghaib, which is literally means the absent person. In English, we would call it the third person. Then you have the second group of rows, so the second set of rows, which is labeled as al-mukhatab, which is the second person, right? And then the third row, or the last row, is al-mutakallim. Al-mutakallim is the person who is speaking, all right? So which is the first person in English. And under each group of rows, you have al-mudhakkar and al-mu'annath, which is masculine and feminine. So this is the breakdown of the past tense verb. Okay, and we went through that a couple times before, and we just recapped it again last week, right? Then we went on to the exercises here, where we looked at using the appropriate form of the verb dhahaba to complete the sentences. All right, so we have in this first exercise, Rakam Wahid, we have to fill the blank spaces in each sentence with the verb dhahaba. All right, we need to look at the sentence and the context, and then we apply the relevant conjugation of that one verb, right, to the sentence, to the respective sentences, right? For example, number 1, Aina tullabul jududu. So we already know we are speaking about somebody else. So we would use the ghaib, we use the third person, right? Then we are also speaking about not a single person, but rather a group, plural, right? So we use the plural form. And we also dealing with masculine, because tulab is plural of talib. Talib is a male student, right? So tulab is masculine plural, right? So we'll use that form of the verb, which in this case it is dahabu. Plural, dahabu, right? So in response to the question, aina tullabul jududu, the answer will be dahabu ila al-mudiri, right? With the waw and the alif at the end, right? Next one, nahnu something ila al-mal'ab. Of course, we're using the verb dhahaba for all the answers. So you would say nahnu dhahabna. We will use the first person plural, which have the noon and the alif at the end of the verb. Alright, so dhahaba, and then we add the na at the end, so we get dhahab na, dhahabna. Right? So basically, we're just changing this one verb, dhahaba, and we said let's look at the table and see which is the applicable form of the verb that we would put in the spaces to complete the sentences, right? So that's pretty straightforward. The next one, Rakam F9, is the same concept, except now you have to come up with your own verb. Come up with your own verb. For example, the first one is something, al-adhan ya Muhammad. So you can use the word sami'a. So you can say asami'ta al-adhan ya Muhammad. So we use the root verb sa, sin, mim, ain, sami'a. And then we go back to the table, a couple pages above, we look for the appropriate form and we apply that pattern, right? So if you're speaking to one person, in this case is masculine, Muhammad, so you use the second person masculine, singular in this case, right? And you apply that pattern to the verb samia, right? So let's look at the table. We have here al-mukhatab, which is second person. We know it's mukhatab because he's speaking to Muhammad. They say, yeah, Muhammad. So you normally say, yeah, when you're speaking directly to somebody, right? Yeah, Muhammad. And then it's masculine, so we say mudhakkar. And of course, it's singular. So we use this form of the verb, right? So we have the three root letters, and then we have the ta with the fatha added on, right? So in the case of something, samia, we will say sami'ta, sa, mi, and then the ain with the sukun, samia, and then you add on the ta for this particular case with the fatha above the ta, right? Sami'ta, sami'ta. So the question will be, sami'ta al-adhana ya Muhammad. Did you hear the adhan, O Muhammad? Right? So this one you have to come up with your own verbs to conjugate, right? Right, then we went on and we looked at from thalatha. Again, we have the verb dhahaba. In this case, we are talking about in each particular conjugation, what that attached pronoun represents. And we say it represents the fa'il or the doer of the verb, right? So in the case where you have Aina tullabul jududu, where are the new students? And the reply will be Dhahabu ila al-mudiri. They went to the principal, right? So in that case, the answer that the person is answering, it is a verbal sentence. It starts with a verb. Now remember we said a verbal sentence always starts with a verb and it follows, what follows after it is the doer of the verb or the fa'il, right? So the verb is the fa'il and the doer of the verb is the fa'il. So in that particular response, where the person answers, Dhahabu ila al-mudiri, right? The verb is dhahaba, and the waw at the end, waw al-jama'a, which is the plural waw, that attached pronoun would represent the fa'il or the doer of the verb, right? So that's basically what this section is speaking about, right? So and the only exception to that will be the third person masculine and feminine singular. So third person singular, masculine and feminine, right? In those cases now, the understood pronoun, or what we call damir mustatir, is what will be the doer of the verb. So in those cases, the actual fa'il is not expressly seen in the sentence, but is understood, all right? So for example, the word dhahaba, it literally means he went, okay? So, but you might say, well, that's the root verb. Where is the he in that, right? But that is how the root verb, it basically represents the masculine singular form of the verb, right? So, dahaba means he went. So, that would be the fa'il, the verb, right? So, where's the fa'il? Fa'il in this case would be the damir mustatir, or the hidden damir, or the understood pronoun, right? And that would be the fa'il, right? As I said, for the verb dahabu, dahaba is the verb, as we see here. Dahaba is equal to the fa'il, and the waw al jama'a, or the waw at the end, which we add on, is the fa'il, right? So you're all seeing that, right? We're on page 57, number 3. In the case of the feminine singular, third person, we have dahabat, dahabat. So we have here as well da, ha, and ba. These are root letters, right? However, we have a ta added on with a sukoon. In this case, this ta with the sukoon, it is not a damir, it's not an attached pronoun, right? It is what we call here the alamatu ta'nith, alamatu ta'nith, or the sign of it being feminine, right? So this ta is not a pronoun. Remember that. So, so you might ask, well, where is the fa'il? Go back to the same concept of damir al-mustatir, or the hidden or the understood pronoun, right? This is the fa'il, right? And then, of course, we will go through the other conjugations here. Dahabna, dahaba is the verb, and the na is the fa'il or do of the verb, right? Then we have dahabta, dahaba again is the verb, the fa'il, and the fa'il is the ta with the fatha, the attached pronoun. This is the do of the verb, right? The fa'il. Hope everybody understands that so far. If anybody has any questions, you could let me know. You could type it in the chat. You could contact me directly afterwards. Doesn't matter, right? Inshallah. Alright, so going on to the next one now. رقم 4 عين الفاعل فيما يلي. So it's basically give us a list of words and we have to identify the fa'il or the doer of the verb in these words, right? So here we have خرجت, I came out of. So kharaja is the verb, and the to here, the tag with dhamma is the attached pronoun, and it is the fa'il, the doer of the verb. Right? The next one, jalasna, the na attached pronoun is the doer of the verb. The next one, sami'ti, ta kasra, this is the doer of the verb. Right? Let's go again. Sharibtunna, the ta, dhamma, noon with the shadda, tunna, this is the attached pronoun, the doer of the verb, the fa'il. Okay? Let's look at the next one. Dakhalu, dakhala is the verb. Dal, kha, la, this is the verb, and the doer of the verb is the attached pronoun, the wawal jama'a. Alright? You might say, but hold on, there's a waw and aleph there. But the attached pronoun is just the waw, the aleph is zaida, is added on there for particular reasons, right? Next one, hafidna, hafidna, hafidha is the verb, and the noon with the fatha is the doer of the verb. Okay, so I think you all understand that concept, right? We have one on the second line here. Fataha, fataha means to open or he opened. So in this particular case, fataha, it is the verb, the fa'il. So where is the fa'il? Where is the doer of the verb? It is the damir mustatir, or the understood pronoun. In this case, taqdiruhu huwa, right? It represents or refers to huwa, because we know it's singular form of the verb. We know it's masculine because we're not seeing it with ta'nith, we're not seeing the feminine ta, all right? And we know it's not plural, right? So in this case, it is huwa, the hidden pronoun, understood pronoun is he. Good. Right, then we went on to again, it's basically the same concept. من الضمائر المتصلة, that is from among the attached pronouns, is the ta. So here they just grouping it for you, so you understand that these are the attached pronouns, right? So you have first group is the ta, kama fi, right? Dhahabta, dhahabti, dhahabtu, dhahabtunna, dhahabtum, dhahabtunna, right? All of them, you have the ta attached, all right? So this is the first group of attached pronouns. Then you have, again, you have the al-waw, kama fi, dhahabu. So in this case, the waw is the attached pronoun, right? And then you have an-nun, kama fi, dhahabna, dhahabna, right? Then we have uh, then you have the last one is the na, the nun with the fat, with the aleph after it. This is as we have in dhahabna, dhahabna, right? And the last section here, say ta'ammil ma yali, observe what follows. So again, we have the understood pronoun, right? So if somebody asks a question, Aina Hamidun, and you answer Kharaja. So Kharaja is a complete sentence in the context of this answer, right? If you just go up to some random person and you just tell them Kharaja without the context, it would not be a complete sentence in that context, right? It would just be he left. You would know who is the person left over, right? In this case, when it's asked Aina Hamidun, where is Hamid? And you answer directly Kharaja, right? Kharaja is the fa'il, and al-fa'il is the damir mustatir, or the understood pronoun huwa, meaning he, right? So he left, right? Similarly, for the feminine, Aina Aminatu, where's Amina? Kharajat, she left, right? The ta in this case is not a pronoun, it is the ta'u ta'nith, right? Alamatu ta'nith, or sign of it being feminine, right? And the fa'il or do of the verb, it is the understood pronoun, damir al-mustatir. Good. Any questions on that? Now, I just want to make one point again here before we go back to lesson 9. Okay. So I saw they broke it down into a little more detail here, right? So I don't want to get too technical here, but if we go back to the number 3, which is on page 57, right? I've highlighted here. We see all of the ones that end with ta or some version of ta, meaning the attached pronouns. See, we basically refer to the ta, whether it's ta with a fatha, ta with a dhamma, ta with a kasra, right, as the actual fa'il, right? And in the case of the habtum, right, the tum, remember, the ta and the mim is added on, right? The ta and the mim is added on. And the actual pronoun is ta, dhamma, mim. That's a pronoun that they add on to the verb, right? But in this particular scenario, again, I don't want to get too down into too much detail, but the actual ta is what is the do of the verb. And the mim attached to the ta, it is the alamatu jam. Alamatul jam. Right? It's a sign of plural. Similarly, for the tunna, right, you have the ta being the fa'il, right, the ta. So you have the verb, the have tunna, da, ha, da. Then you have the ta with the dhamma, tu, and then you have the noon with the shadda, na, right? So you have the have tunna. So in this case, the ta is the fa'il, and the noon is alamatul jamma, the sign of it being plural, right? So there is just a little more technicality there. You don't have to worry too much about that, right? Good. So let's go back. If there are no questions again, we go back to lesson 9. Good. So we read the first 2 pages last week. We read it again today, and then we, of course, you all read it after me, inshallah, right? So what we want to do now is just to go through line by line and just basically explain some of the vocabulary and some of the sentence structures, right? So we start Bismillah. Adab Tercero, lesson 9, or the ninth lesson, the ninth lesson. Remember, the names or the numbers of the chapters, they are using the ordinal numbering system, right? As we have in English, we have in English 1, 2, 3. We also have first, second, third. So when you have counting like first, second, third, those are referred to as ordinal, meaning that they basically state the order of something, right? So that's what a tercero is. This is the ordinal number, right? We know when you count in the numbers, واحد اثنين ثلاثة أربعة خمسة ستة سبعة ثمانية تسعة عشرة. So تسعة means 9, but the ordinal number is تاسع, right? تاسع. So it literally means the ninth lesson, right? Good. So first line, دخل المدرس الفصل. دخل means to enter. So we start with a verb. He entered. Now we said when we have a verbal sentence, start with a verb, follow with a fa'il, the do of the verb. So the do of the verb, it is al-mudarrisu. Al-mudarrisu, right? So دخل المدرس. The teacher entered. The teacher entered. Where did he enter? Al-fasla. Al-fasla. The classroom, right? So the teacher entered the classroom. Wa means and. Wajada. So be careful here. You have two vowels back to back. The first one means and. The second one is part of the word wajada. Wajada means he found or to find, right? Wajada fihi, and he found in it. So this is fihi, right? You know the word fi means in, and he refers to it, meaning the classroom, right? So recall that in Arabic, we only have two genders, masculine and feminine, right? So when we use pronouns, we have to be careful when translating the pronouns, right? So huwa, or in this case, who or he, could refer to either a, a, a person, a male person, or a male object, right? Because the objects have gender values, either masculine or feminine. In this case, the classroom or fasla, it is male gender, so we use the male pronoun, he, right? Originally, the pronoun is who, ha, dhamma, who. But we know according to the rule that when that is attached to anything and the letter before it has a kasra or something with a sukun, and before that has a kasra, then that who changes to he, purely out of the phonetics of the situation, right? And not out of any grammar rule or anything, right? So you don't say fi who, you say fi he, right? You all with me? Good. So we have wajada fihi, and he found in it, right? So follow me there. The teacher entered the classroom and he found fihi in it khamsata ashara taliban faqat. Khamsa means 5, ashara means 10. So 5 and 10 right, is what? 15, right? Khamsata ashara, 15 taliban faqat. Remember when we're counting, once we cross 10, once we cross 10 in number, from 11 onwards, we use the singular form of the word that is counted. Even though you have, in this case, 15 students, you don't use the plural to lab, you use singular, right? You only use the plural of the word when you're counting, when you're counting. You only use the plural between 3 and 10, right? 11 onwards, you go back to the singular form of the word that is counted, right? So, خمسة عشر طالبا فقط. فقط means only, only, right? So he only found 15 students. فقال لهم. Fa means so. It's a conjugation, right? So, قال means he said, right? قال, he said, lahum, to them. فقال lahum. He said to them, أين الطلاب الجدد? Where are the students? You know, the plural of talib is tullab. So, أين الطلاب الجدد? Where are the new students? Right? Remember the word jadid? Jadid means new, and the plural of jadid is judud. Why do we have to use the plural here? Because it is an adjective. And the adjective describing the word before it must agree with the word in 4 areas. What are these 4 areas? You must agree with it in gender, you must agree with it in number, must agree with it in case, and must agree with it in definiteness. So in this case, both of them are definite. The alif lam is on the tulab and the alif lam is on the judud, right? So alif lam, alif lam. So it's agreeing with the definiteness, right? It's agreeing with the number because tulab is plural and we use the plural of jadid, so we have judud, right? It's agreeing with gender, tulab is masculine, julud is masculine. And it's agreeing in case, tulab is genitive or, I'm sorry, not genitive, nominative or marfu, and therefore the julud is also marfu. And both of them have the dhamma to indicate they are in the nominative case. All right? So the teacher is asking, Aina tulabul juludu, where are the new students? Who are the new students? Al khamsatu. So this is again um, another attribute of the students, right? However, this is not an adjective in this case, right? It is a number, and remember we said once we count in the number between 3 and 10, the number has to be opposite gender to the thing which is counted, right? So the tulab, 5 students, the tulab is masculine. So therefore, the word that we use, the number has to be in the feminine gender. That's why they have a ta marbuta added at the end, right? Khamsatu, right? Aina tullabul jududu al khamsatu. Where are the 5 new students? Alladhi, that ja'u, that came, amsi, that came yesterday. Where are the 5 new students who came yesterday or that came yesterday? Notice here the verb ja'a means to come or arrive, right? And you use the plural form ja'u with the waw at the end. You know what we said here? The waw added on at the end, the plural, third person plural, right? Going on again, Qala Abdullahi. Abdullah said, Qala Abdullahi. Abdullah said, all right, remember here, this is a sentence, right? It's a verbal sentence or statement. Starts with a verb, so it's a verbal sentence. So where's the verb? Qala, that's the verb. He said, all right? Who said? Where's the file? Where's the do of the verb? Abdullah. This is the do of the verb. But strictly speaking, just the first part of this compound name is a compound word, Abdullah, right? mudaf ilayh. Alright? The first part will be counted in grammar as the do of the verb, abdu. Right? And the word Allahi, it is called mudaf ilayh. Right? So the servant or the slave of Allah. Mudaf ilayh. Right? So Abdullahi. So remember, mudaf ilayh is always genitive. That is why you have the word there. Lafzul jalala, Allahi. The ha has a kasra because it is mudaf ilayh to the abdu. And abdu, it is the fa'il, the doer of the verb. Right? In this case, the mudaf represents the fa'il. Right? Fa'il. So, qala Abdullahi, Abdullah said, Hadaru, notice the plural here, Hadaru, they came, al-yawma, they came today, wa kharaju, and they left. So they arrived. Hadaru means to arrive or to be present, right? To be present. Hadaru al-yawma, they arrived or they were present today, wa kharaju, and they left. Qabla qalilan, right? A short while ago. Qabla qalilin literally means before uh, um, a short time. Right? Qabla qalilin, before a short time, meaning a short while ago or not long ago. Right? And they continued saying, or he continued saying, Abdullah continues by saying, Adunnu, I think or I suspect, annahum, that they. Adunnu, I suspect, annahum. Now be careful here, please. This verb, dhanna yadhunnu, in this particular occurrence in the center in the passage here, this is a present tense form of a verb. We haven't done present tense yet. Came across one or two cases, previous lesson and so on. We'll get into that soon, inshallah. So this is a present tense form of a verb. It's a verb, it's a present tense form. Remember we said past tense verbs, we have pronouns and attachments after the root word. So you have the root word, and towards the end of it, you have additions. This is for the past tense verb. Present tense verb, however, we have additions at both ends, at the beginning and at the end. Some cases just the beginning, some cases beginning and the end. All right? So in this case, it is something added at the beginning. All right? Adunnu, I think or I suspect, annahum, that they, dahabu, or you know dahaba means to go, and this is the plural form, dahabu, they went. So Abdullah is saying, I think that they went ila al-mudiri, to the principal. I think that they went to the principal. Next line. رجع الطلاب الخمسة. Right, so رجع means to return. الطلاب, the students. الخمسة, 5. Right, so the 5 students returned. Follow with me? The 5 students returned. بعد قليلا, after a short while. So yeah, قبل means before and بعد means after. Right? قبل before and بعد after. قبل قليل means a short while ago, and بعد قليل means after a short while. Right? After a short while. فقال لهم المدرس. Right, look what we have here. We have fa. Fa is a conjugation, means so or then. Right? So you could say, then he said to them. Who said to them? Al-Mudarrisu. Right? Look where the fa'il is. So you have the verb, qala. We said after the verb comes the fa'il. In this case, the fa'il comes after the lahum. It's allowed. You can do that. So you can say, فَقَالَ الْمُدَرِّسُ لَهُمْ. The mudarris said to them, or you can say, فَقَالَ لَهُمْ. And he said to them, al-mudarrisu, the teacher. So basically, what does that translate to mean in English? So the teacher said to them, or then the teacher said to them, فقال لهم المدرس. So he's asking them, إلى المدير. Is to ask a question, as we know. Ila means to or towards, and al mudir is the principal, of course, right? إلى المدير ذهبتم يا أبنائي. Is it to the principal that you all went, O my sons, O my children? So teacher is speaking to his children, O my children, is it the principal you went to? Qalu, they said. So we see the plural form of qala here, right? Qala, here we have qalu, plural. So these are the 5 students responding. Qalu, na'am. They said, yes. Dahabna, we went. See the form of the verb coming up there, right? The noon and the aleph. Dahabna ilayhi, to him. We went to him. Li'annana, li'anna means because, right? So li'anna, na, we. So the na to be attached, as we said, attached pronouns, you can attach them to verbs, you can attach them to nouns, and you can attach them to particles. Right? In this case, we have the anna particle, we attach the pronoun onto it, the anna, na. Because we, ma wajadana, did not find. So wajada, we saw that earlier. Wajada means to find. Right? So wajadana, we found. We found. Alright? Now we said to negate a past tense verb, we put ma in front of it. Right? So in this case, the ma is to negate that verb. So wajadana, we found. Ma wajadana, we did not find. The opposite. Right? So they are saying, these 5 students, they are saying, the annana, because we, ma wajadana, did not find, because we did not find asma'ana, our names. You know, the word for name is ism. Ism, plural is asma. Asma, okay? Asma'ana, our names. We did not find our names fil qa'imati. We did not find our names in the register or the roll. Right? So they went and they say, new students, they didn't see the names in the roll or the register, so they went to the principal to make sure that the registration is complete, you know, and proper and so on. So they did not find the names in the qa'ima. Qa'ima is a list or a register. Right? Right, going on. Jalasa al-mudarrisu wa qala. The teacher sat, jalasa, to sit. Al-mudarrisu, the teacher sat, wa qala, and he said, أقرأتم درس الأمس يا أبنائي. Did you all read the lesson of yesterday or yesterday's lesson? Is mudaf ilayh. Right? Did you all read yesterday's lesson, O my children? قال الطلاب, the students replied, نعم. نعم. Right? So قال the الطلاب. قال الطلاب نعم. قرأناه, we read it. So you have the qara'a is the read. You have the na is the doer of the verb, we read. And what did they read? Who? It, meaning the book, the lesson. Alright, they read the lesson. Okay, so what did the students say? قرأناه وكتبناه. Kataba means to write. So we read it and we wrote it. Alright? وَحَفِظْنَاهُ, and they memorized it. So they read it, and they wrote it, and they also memorized the lesson. قَالَ الْمُدَرِّسُ, the teacher said, أَفَهِمْتُمُوهُ, did you understand it? Notice he used the plural here. Remember when he said you have the word tum, or the pronoun tum at the end of a verb, right? ذهبتم, right? كتبتم, قرأتم, right? حفظتم, right? And so you have that tum at the end of a verb, and you add on to it attached pronoun, right? You have to add that extra wow. We saw the extra wow here, right? We did that in the last couple lessons ago, right? So the original word fahima, to understand, and the fahima, to understand. Then you have the tum, fahim tum, you, masculine plural, understood, right? So fahim tum, you understood, and then you add on to the who, but to add on that attached pronoun onto this particular conjugation with the tum at the end, you have to add the wow. So afahim tumuhu, did you all understand it? Qalu, they said, na'am, yes. Fahimnahu jayyidan, we understood it. Jayyid, very good. Right? Ma ashala hada darsa. How easy is this lesson? Right? So this is a expression of amazement or of wonder, right? So ma ashala. Ma ashala, we use the ma and the superlative form of the word. When we did ismu tafdil, right? Where we have like comparative and superlative, right? So sorry, this is comparative, right? So we use ma ashala. How easy hada darsa is this lesson, right? Qala Abdul Rahmani. Abdul Rahman said, أنا ما فهمت فيه ثلاث كلمات. I did not understand three words in it, right? So أنا ما فهمت, did not understand. So again, we have the ma here, ما فهمت, right? So fahima is to understand, fahimtu, I understood, right? But when we put the ma in front of it, we negate that. So ma fahimtu, I did not understand. You with me? Ana ma fahimtu, I did not understand. Fihi, in it, that is the dars, in the dars, thalatha kalimatin, three words, three words. Notice we're talking about three, so we use the plural form, kalimatin. See the alif and the ta at the end there, right? Sound feminine plural. Qala al-mudarrisu, the teacher said, ma hiya, what are they? Qala Abdul Rahman, Abdul Rahman said, قرأنا في الدرس, I read in the lesson. هذه الجملة, I read in the lesson this sentence. هذه الجملة, this sentence. What is the sentence? عاد جدي من الخرطوم. Right? So عاد means to return. Right, so this is a sentence that he didn't understand. Right? So he asked the teacher, فما معنى. So he's saying, so what? In this case, the ma here means what. So again, you have to look at the context, right? So the ma here means what. So he's using the fa, which is the conjugation. Fama, so what? As in answering the question. Ma'na is the meaning. Ma'na is meaning. Meaning. Fama ma'na, what is the meaning of هذه الكلمات؟ فما معنى هذه الكلمات الثلاثة? So what is the meaning of these three words? قال المدرس, the teacher said, عاد معناها رجع. As for عاد, the meaning of it is رجع. معناها, the meaning of it, رجع, to return. والجد, and الجد معناها, its meaning is أبو الأبي أو أبو الأمي, the father of your father or the father of your mother, meaning grandfather. It could be Jad, could be grandfather on either side. All right. Wal khurtumu, And Khartoum, Al-Khartoum, it is Asimatu Sudani. It is the capital of Sudan. Sudan is a country. And so Asimatu, it is the capital city of the country, right? So Asimatu Sudan, the capital of Sudan. Afahimta, do you understand? Qala Abdul Rahman. Abdul Rahman said, Al-ana fahimtu. Now I understand. Right, good. Any quick questions? Your subject today is 9 o'clock already. All right. Inshallah, we'll continue next week. Any quick questions or announcements?
Just to inform the brothers and sisters that we will be looking at the first Monday in August to start the revision.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر جزاكم الله خير السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته